Well, this is for everybody who wants to know, where do you get training for air conditioning? Where can you get paper resources and updates? Where can you get monthly magazine articles? Where you could get more training, tools, equipment, hoses, recharging machines. Everything you want to know will come from this organization, M.A.C.S, M-A-C-S. If you look it up on the web, you go to MACSW.org, and that will get you into these resources. You can sign up. And right now I've traveled from San Francisco to Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm attending the expo right now. I just came off the plane about an hour ago. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., I'll be down there. So many people want to know more. Many shops and do-it-yourselfers want to know more about air conditioning, especially with the new vehicles. You have multiple electric water pumps. We have heat pumps starting to come out on vehicles and electric. This is the place to go. This is the place to get information. Sandin, they have some excellent training videos, and they have resources and materials on their compressors. And they've even have over in, I think they have a CO2 system out. They've had a CO2 system out for a while. Actually, I worked on a bus that was an electric bus that had two electric Sandin compressors on it. It's in one of my videos from probably about 2 months ago. So your monthly flyers on technical issues will come like this monthly. Here was February, here's January. And so this one, they have an article in here about valve cores, valve core leaks, how to find different kind of leaks, how to repair them. You would never believe you can write so many pages just on a little tiny valve core. But you have detailed, showing you the details inside. How do they fail? How do you know, the different seals on them, the different types. Even though they look all the same, they're not the same. There's over a different kind, the valve cores, there's over a dozen different valve cores. And now that they have the new YF, they have more different valve cores. So this is what you can expect. And they talk about the seal materials, special sockets for you guys who replaced these GM ones. You know, between the Ford and the GM, they were a little different. I believe the Ford, you could use your regular socket, but no, GM had to go and do something different, and they have an in-between size. They come up with some god-awful size that doesn't quite fit other things, and so there is a special tool that holds on to them better than a socket. And valve core removers. As you can see, many people don't know there's a thing called a valve core reamer, and that's this little pointy thing down here. When you had your old valve cores, it was tapered, and you actually can refresh and resurface that inner taper they sealed against by using that little taper tool. It has a reaming edge that kind of lapped and gave it a new surface. So you could put a new valve core in there. So this is one of the things, and let's see, this month, this was all about breakaway clutches. The kind of compressors that don't have clutches on them, they have the permanent clutch that runs all the time unless it locks up, and then the clutch just snaps off, but it doesn't seize up and break a belt. They have a good article on that. Some of the new heater cases that are coming out on Fords, where you cannot service a simple little sensor inside because the whole complete case comes sealed, and you have to buy the whole entire unit. You cannot just buy a evaporator and change it. That's going to be expensive. And in this much issue, they're just going over different procedures for diagnosing the new clutches that you've been seeing that don't have clutches. They're just, I mean, it's really simple. It's kind of bonehead. It's mechanical. Normal AC operate, it operates. Compressor seizes. What's going to happen? Excessive compressor torque, the bridge breaks off, and the pulley keeps running. And so you can see right here, they have pictures of right where it breaks off. So this seizes up in the center shaft, it breaks off right there, and the belt can keep going so it doesn't take out your water pump or your alternator or anything else. So if you sign up and join M.A.C.S, you will get this monthly. This is something you get. I've been getting these for 30 years now. And here's a 4-cylinder 2.7, 6-cylinder 2.7, both 2.7 cylinders, both 2.7 liters, but one's a 4 and one's a 6. This one has 2 water pumps on it on each side, electric water pumps. That's it right there. We have a water pump with valving right here. Okay, no more mechanical. You notice electric cars, but gas cars are starting to come out with no mechanical water pumps. They've been going over to 2-way, 3-way, 4-way valves and multiple electric water pumps. Clutch gap problems. For us who've been doing Fords for 30-40 years, we all know the infamous clutch gap problems that they have, and they just had a little article for guys just coming in and don't know about the clutch gap problems. Going to their magazine. So you get this every month, and products, depending on what part of the country or what part of the world you're from. You got machines, and everywhere you have QR codes usually, or they'll have the address, the email address or website address you could go to them. Little cans of YF. God, I wish they would never release these. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a true believer that the can should only be released in 30 pounds or bigger. Sorry for you do-it-yourselfers in your small shops, but the guys waste so much refrigerant to the atmosphere, and the guys who typically lose these are the guys who typically are the ones responsible for compressors burning up. Not all of you, but there's a bigger majority than you think. Tracer dye products. This is my to-go product. 30 years ago they were good, and they're still the best. There's other companies who sister them, come very close. Still to this day, I use only this product. Tracer line products for a UV fluorescent dye. And tomorrow when I get out on the floor, you'll see some of the classes. When I get out on the expo floor, I'll take some short videos of different products and I'll post them online so you actually could see products you probably have never seen before. Very common on cars. 2-way, 3-way, 4-way valves. Future is here. And we're going to start seeing a lot of these starting to fail now. For you guys who only see cars out of warranty and older, you won't probably be seeing too many of those for a while, but the cars that are out today all have those now. You want to make up lines, reusable lines with reusable ends on them that you could snap off and snap on and put a new crimp on. You're doing heavy mining equipment, heavy dirt, earth movers, semis, stuff like that. This is a good product. You want to get the ones that are made out of steel. They could take the vibration. You don't want to get the cheap aluminum. Well, it's not cheap. Aluminum fittings, if you're going to make them up for a car, residential, regular street driving is okay. But if you have an off-road vehicle, you want to do steel. Much more durable. And so just manufacturers of equipment. So you can get an idea if you join. This is a monthly book you'll get every month. Some of the members who input into this magazine, this month is a special month because it is a 40-year anniversary for M.A.C.S and M.A.C.S Action. And these are some of the longtime members, and just telling their background, what they've been doing. And when you come here to the convention, you'll actually see these people out on the floor. You'll get to meet them. You can go up to them, talk to them, ask any question you want. This app. This I recommend to all small do-it-yourselfers who are a little backyard garage, or if you're a mechanic working for a shop, but you want to try to open your own little business and you do side jobs and you try to do air conditioning. This application, you have it on your phone, it'll give you all the too bad I can't show you a screen snap of my phone right now, and I didn't bring my laptop with me. But cooling, for coolant, what type of coolant, how many quarts, it shows you all the positions for all the air bleed nozzles. You know how you have to crack open and bleed out the air? Some cars have 7, 8 air bleed nozzles on them, and you don't even see them. This app identifies them and shows pictures. Gives you what kind of oil, how many ounces of oil you need in the compressor, and your fill charge. So I've had this app for years. Many years ago, it used to come on a 3.5 inch floppy. Remember floppy disks? I used to have to order floppy disks, and they would send them out to me and download it into my computer laptop. And a key, there's a special key code you had to type in to access it, you know, for piracy purposes and bootlegging and stuff like that. Oh, it was miserable going through that. But see, they had the app for a long time. Then a little bit more. Oh, the Bosch unit. Everybody who knows Bosch knows it's a quality company. And I have a few shops I go to who have the Bosch scanners. More on machines. Oh, these are if you're doing trucks or you want to add air conditioning to a vehicle. You have your rooftop thermal unit, and this goes in the center cab of your big truck or whatever modification. This is your heating and air conditioning unit all in the one. Takes in the air in the bottom and blows out air in the top vents. So this is else what you get monthly. And 4 seasons. So for tomorrow's expo, going to M.A.C.S, this is what you can expect when you fly out to one of these expos. You'll have training every day. If you come the day before all the training begins, see on Wednesday, February 19th, that's today, and a golf tournament. Everybody gets together and they go out on a golf tour thing. And they also have other things for your wives to go on, shopping sprees and stuff like that. That's the day before everybody who gets here today. Tomorrow, all the training starts. And as you can see, there's a lot of classes. Each one of these alternating colors is a different class. Some of them repeat, some of them do not. You see the bulk of it happens the very first day. If you look really closely, I don't think I have to read them off for you. You can pause your screen and read them, and it'll give you an idea of what and how many kind of classes there are. And if you miss some of them today or tomorrow, then you can come back the next day. There's fewer classes. And then you get to go out into the trade show. And here's Saturday. Got your heavy duty off-road vehicle guys. Very good electrical classes. Anybody want to know about electrical, the upcoming electrical and diagnosing and all the sensors and stuff? They have some very good electrical classes. Usually your first time here you can't hit all the classes. So if you're a first time member, you may want to come 1 year, try to hit as many as you can, and then come either the next year or skip a few years and then come back and try to hit some of the other classes because you can't hit them all. But getting back to their website, now this is for automotive, Mobile Air Conditioning Society Worldwide. Now, anybody who's an instructor at a high school or a college who does automotive courses, this should be like a mandatory thing. They should at least be allowed to come here one time. The school should pay for it. Only after they come here should they be allowed to teach air conditioning. No, you can actually teach it before if you're an instructor. But if they've never been to an event like this and they've been an instructor for 5 or 10 years, that's really sad. But once they come here, their eyes will be opened and they'll have a wealth of information and a whole bunch of to-go places to get more information to educate your students. Either if you're lucky enough to be one of the states that still have high school auto classes, or a college, university, or trade school. Now, if you think this is big, go to commercial air conditioning, and I believe anybody who's an instructor or dedicated heater and radiator and air conditioning shop. After you've been a member of M.A.C.S and you've been in the business 5 or 10 years and you're successful and you think, oh, I know everything and there's nothing more for me to know, you go to one of these. I'm going next year. This is what I go to every couple years. This is for commercial HVAC, heating and air conditioning. After you go to this show, you'll never think of automotive in the same way. The equipment and the technology in the commercial air conditioning trickles down to cars 10 or 15 years later. What has been used in commercial refrigeration and residential and everything is just now in the last few years starting to trickle down and come into cars. Like heat pumps. The new Prius Prime that has the heat pump in it, been around for 50 years. Cars just started getting it the last 2 years. That's how old the technology is. But for the mechanics, it's all those. All these 2-way and 3-way and 4-way valves and multiple water pumps. Big buildings use water and all those exact same systems, but on a bigger scale. Imagine a valve the size of a Volvo and pipes that are a yard across. Big pipes carrying liquid water or coolant in them, being 30 inches wide, a whole meter wide pipe going up and down 20 stories of a building. So if you think you're the big guru working on cars and you come from a big company, a big shop, whatever your excuse is, you'll get your little butt put in place when you show up to this and you go to this expo and you see all the technology is here and the size and the money involved. This is a multi-hundred billion dollar, billions of dollars in business here. This is just you'd say this is your mom and pop corner 7-Eleven store. Okay, the automotive business is just a little peon compared to these guys. Here you have to have a brain, you have to do math, you have to know a little science and engineering. You have to actually figure out how things go together to put together a system. When you make a mistake, it's in the thousands, tens of thousands, or millions of dollars, depending on the size of your project. Here, the worst thing you can do is burn up a little compressor and have to replace an entire system. So what, $2,000 or $3,000? That is nothing. That's like buying a latte compared to when you do business like this. But if you're interested, go to HARX Expo and you can see some of the vendors of last year, what just happened a week or two ago, about a week ago. I go to one of these and one of these alternating. I never go at the same time because they both happen in the same month and they're a week apart. That's just too much. Overload, sensory overload. Next year, Chicago. I'll be going to the Chicago one. When my son started working with me in the commercial air conditioning business, his very first year, he started working with no knowledge, no experience. I flew him out to the Chicago AHR because I had to give him some perspective of what he's getting into and what his possibilities of employment are for his future, not just being a grunt worker installing components. So this is an overview of what I'm going to in the next 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I'll be going back home. So for those of you who are interested, get online and do-it-yourselfers, mechanics who want to open up their own business or they work on the side, or a shop owner if you come across this video, or another mechanic and you want to bring to your boss. You've been working for your boss for 5 years, he knows you're a good employee, he feels like you're going to stay there and you're worth investing. If you are a good employee to your boss and he thinks it's worth investing, he'll get a return on his money for sending you out. Try to talk to one of your bosses, your owner, your manager, supervisor, whoever's responsible for sending guys for training. Talk them into sending you out to one of these. If you do a lot of air conditioning and you need to be caught up to date and be more productive and be the lead team leader out of the pack of guys there who knows the most about air conditioning, because everybody else just kind of guessed and you could kind of see it, get your boss to come out here. If you were like me when I was young, my boss wouldn't pay. I asked him for time off without pay and I flew myself out to one of these. And after that, my mind was changed. There was other things that made me change my mind, but I went into business for myself, and that was nearly 30 years ago. And ever since then, I don't think I could ever work for somebody again, or at least in the automotive business. Definitely could not work for somebody. That's all I got to say about that. Have fun, guys. Hope to see some of you out here, not next year because I'll be at the AHR Expo in Chicago, but probably the year after next, 2 years from now, I'll be back at the M.A.C.S Expo. See you until tomorrow.